Now, I mentioned earlier about planning being rocket science and a bicycle. But when I was a young man, and incidentally, I never heard the word strategic planning until I was about 36 years of age. But when I was a young man, I had a dream. I wanted a Schwinn bicycle. Schwinn back in those days was like the Cadillac of bicycles. But I came from the wrong side of the tracks, and my family couldn't afford a Schwinn bicycle. But I had a vision. And I did a plan. It wasn't written down, but it was in my head. But I had a vision. I had a mission. I wanted that bicycle by the end of the year, by Christmas. I analyzed the barriers. I set the goals. I developed strategies. I wasn't getting great grades in school, so what did I do? I started doing my homework. My mother was always yelling at me because I didn't take the garbage out. I started taking the garbage out. I did all the things that you would need to do, and I analyzed the audiences that were important to me. And I did a strategic plan. And bottom line on the process is I decided that one of the best ways to earn money back in those days was to get a paper route. Now, you just didn't go out and get a paper route, because everybody got newspapers back in those days, and other boys owned the paper route. So you had to buy a paper route. And to buy a paper route, the going rate was about 20 bucks. My dad didn't have 20 bucks. Back in those days, he wasn't making 30 bucks a week, I'm sure. And so I went to my grandfather, important audience, customer, as Jim explained, and got my grandfather to loan me $20. Now, I made a penny and a third on every paper that I sold. The route I bought had 50 customers. And I quickly learned that when I went around to collect for delivering the papers, that I got tips if I got the papers there on time in the morning at 5 o'clock, because it was a working class neighborhood. And if I said thank you very much and so on, I got tips. So I'm earning money, and every week I'm sitting down and I'm accounting where do I stand against my plan. And I realized I wasn't going to make it, because I figured I had to have about 2/3 of, or 50% at least, of the money that it would cost for that bicycle in the bank if I had any hope of getting the Schwinn bicycle. So the summer started, and I started mowing lawns, counting the money every week. End of the summer, I was still figuring I was going to come up short. I started walking to school or from school instead of taking the school bus, and picking up beer bottles and soda bottles, pop bottles along the road, and cashing them in for 2 cents a piece. Well, I don't want to spend the whole morning on this, but the bottom line is Christmas morning came. I came downstairs. Was there a Schwinn bicycle under my tree? No. There was a Murray, Ohio bicycle under my tree. Was I disappointed? Yes, for about 10 seconds maybe. And that bicycle still hangs in my garage upside down. And once a year I get it out, I clean it off, I blow up those big balloon tires, and I get on it. And at my age, I still see if I can sit on the handlebars and ride it backwards. And I'm going to do it until I crash. But I've had that bicycle all that time. Now, I'm going to go ahead here, a couple of slides, just for the heck of it, because I'm going to forget. Well, yeah, here we go. In terms of vision, when I was a little boy, maybe it was a tricycle. When I got to be about 11, my vision was a bicycle. This slide may not even be in your book. I'm not sure. At 15, my vision began to change. I was thinking about a car. 15, 16, 25, family, owning my own home. 65 and up, I'm thinking about fishing. And the point I'm making here is that as organizations grow and as individuals grow, your visions change. So along the way, your vision today, an organization working in a neighborhood, may be, we want to make an impact in this neighborhood. And you may grow to a point where your vision says, well, we want to expand to take over a whole part of a city or whatever, and whatever the case may be. Let's see if I can go back here real quick. And so understanding that just because I didn't get that Schwinn bicycle, my life was ruined, wasn't the case, because visions change along the way. And as soon as I had that bicycle, I had an altogether different vision. And it wasn't necessarily the car to start with, it was taking that first 20-mile bike trip or whatever the case may be. And so, you know, when you're planning, you got to keep that vision somewhere, as Jim was explaining, within the realm of reality. I was over in Prague, I can't remember how many years ago, doing an institute kind of a thing, and we had 25 ministries, teams of 4 to 6 people there in the room, and we were talking about planning, and I sent them off to start doing their vision statements, and I'm walking around the room and I look at one group and their vision statement said save the world. I said, how many people are on your board? They said 4. I said, how many people are on your staff? They said 4. I said, how many people are on your board and staff that are not the same? And they said none. And I said, well, even Jesus, when he started out, had 12 people backing him up. So what we did was we began to pull that vision statement back to a point where it was something that was a stretch, but it was within the realm of being able to be achieved. And that's really the key when you're establishing your vision statement. Before we get into that, I'm going to talk just a little bit about planning liabilities and things that can get in the way of planning, and then we'll move on into some of the specifics around planning